The sky above Outpost Varga 12 was quiet. Too quiet. This outpost was built on the edge of the Dark Belt, the most dangerous zone in Sector Theta. Warships passed above every hour. Pirate signals were common. The soldiers stationed here were the best of the best. They didn't laugh, didn't blink, didn't fear anything. But today, they felt something strange in the air, something heavy, something wrong. The warning alarm screamed. A ship was approaching, fast. But it wasn't on. The radar 10 seconds ago, that was impossible. Ships don't just appear out of nowhere. The commander of the base, Zerak 4, stood tall on the observation deck. His dark armor glowed with red lights. His face was hidden behind a silver mask. He had crushed human rebels, destroyed moons, and survived black hole storms. Nothing scared him. But this made him uneasy. "Ship ID," Zerak demanded. "No ID," said his tech officer. "It's not in our database. No heat signature, no energy trail. It's silent." "How far?" Zerak asked. "2 clicks, landing. Now." Outside, soldiers rushed to the main square. Gun turrets locked into place. Drones floated above. The landing pad opened with a deep rumble. Then, the ship appeared. It wasn't large. In fact, it looked broken. Pieces of the hull were missing. There were no lights, no weapons, just metal, old, scratched metal. The ship touched the ground with a soft thud. No sound, no movement. The soldiers waited. 10 seconds passed, then 20. Nothing. Zerak's voice echoed through the loudspeaker. "Whoever you are, come out. You are surrounded." Still nothing. And then, the door opened. A hiss of air escaped, slow and steady. The metal ramp dropped down, and out of the darkness. She walked. No armor, no gun, no helmet, no protection. Just a woman. She looked human, tall, barefoot, long dark hair that moved with the wind. Her clothes were simple, grey, dusty, torn at the edges. Her eyes were sharp, glowing, softly like distant stars. Her face was calm, too calm. The soldiers aimed their weapons. She didn't stop walking. The crowd watched from the towers. Some whispered, "Is she a diplomat? A spy? An android?" Zerak narrowed his eyes. "Scan her." A blue beam passed over her body. The tech read the results. "No tech, no implants, no armor. She's clean. Species unknown." "What do you mean, unknown?" Zerak barked. The tech's voice shook. "I mean, the scan failed. It can't read her." Zerak slammed his fist on the rail. "Bring her in, alive." The elite unit moved in. 12 soldiers, the finest from the Omega Corps. Their armor was thick, their rifles powered by plasma cores. They surrounded her in a tight circle. She stopped walking. She looked around, calm, curious. The lead soldier stepped forward. "On your knees." She looked at him. No fear, no anger, just silence. I said, "Kneel." She tilted her head. The soldier raised his rifle. And then, something strange happened. He froze. His arms started shaking. He dropped the rifle. The others stared. His knees buckled. He fell to the ground. His breathing turned sharp, panicked. He looked at her like she was death itself. I can't move." "What is she?" he whispered. Another soldier shouted, "Stay alert." But it was too late. One by one, the soldiers began to fall, dropping their weapons, backing away, some even begging for mercy. Their systems glitched, visors cracked, HUDs blinked in red. All of them looked terrified, but she didn't touch them. She didn't speak. She just stood there watching. Zerak saw everything from the control room. He slammed the emergency button. "Lock the gates, lock everything. She's not human." But before anyone could react, every screen on the base flickered, black. Then a single file opened on its own, A face appeared, hers, and next to it, words, subject, classified, level 0 threat, codename, the catalyst, status, containment. Failed. The officers stared at the screen. No one had ever seen a level 0 file before. There was no level below 0. 0 meant extinction level. Zirak's voice was cold. Where did this file come from? The AI responded on its own. File was locked by the Galactic Core defense system, opened by Catalyst's presence. Zirak turned to the guards. Get her inside. We need answers. Use the neural cage. The neural cage was designed to hold Star Eaters, creatures that could erase memories, even thoughts. They had never used it before. Until now. Inside the base, they led her down long halls of steel. Drones hovered. Lasers followed her every step. The prisoners in the cells watched her pass. Strange prisoners. Big, violent, dangerous. But not today. Today they were quiet. One, tall alien covered in scars, backed into a corner. His voice shook. It's her, the balance walker. A younger prisoner asked, Who? The one from the old legends. The one they sealed away. Inside the neural cage, she sat calmly. Chains locked around her arms, legs, neck. Even her mind was scanned. Zirak entered the room with 2 guards. What are you? She looked at him. I said, What are you? She finally spoke. Her voice was soft, but every word hit like thunder. I am what comes after you forget who you were. Zirak frowned. Is that a threat? No, she said. It's a truth. Where are you from? He asked. She smiled. Earth. Zirak blinked. Impossible. Earth was destroyed. She leaned forward slightly. That's what they told you. The room grew colder. Zirak stepped back. What do you want? I want to finish what was started. Started by who? She whispered one word. Humanity. And the lights exploded. Every bulb, every screen, gone. The power died. Emergency lights flickered red. Alarms screamed. The floor shook. Zirak shouted, Reinforcements, now. But when the lights came back on, she was gone. The chains were still there, locked, but the chair was empty. A voice echoed from the shadows. You feared humans because they were weak. What happens when you meet one? Who isn't? Outside, in the sky above the base, a beacon lit up. It wasn't sent from the base. It was sent from her ship. The signal spread through space, jumping from satellite to satellite, reaching every major empire in the galaxy. The message was clear. The catalyst has awakened, and the war that everyone forgot had just begun. The soldiers searched every corner of the base. They moved fast, checked every room, every corridor. But she was gone. The woman who walked out of a ghost ship. The woman who made elite warriors beg for mercy. The woman with no weapon, no armor, and no fear. Commander Zirak IV stood in the war room, fists clenched, jaw tight. His voice was sharp. Seal the exits. Ground units stay in squads. She's still here. She must be. The power had come back, but something was still wrong. The lights flickered. The air felt thick, like it was listening. Zirak turned to the prison wing's cameras. They showed nothing, just silence, except one feed. Cell 9, a prisoner was whispering into the corner of his cell. Balance. It's here, the whisper has returned. Zirak frowned, turned the audio up. The screen cracked, and the whisper played across every speaker in the base, just one word. Spoken in a soft voice, a word that should have meant nothing. But when she said it, it changed everything. The word was, remember. The control room shook. Zirak's eyes went wide. He grabbed his head. Memories, flashes, visions, a planet, blue, beautiful, then fire, screams, light, then darkness. Elsewhere in the base, soldiers dropped to their knees. Some screamed, some cried. Some ran into walls, confused and terrified. It wasn't just sound. It was something deeper, like the word was inside them now, touching something they had forgotten. In the prisoner block, the inmates stared at the walls, their minds spinning. The alien prisoner in cell 6, a four-armed brute called Jarnak, fell to the ground. I saw her in the war, I swear, but she was a child. Another prisoner, a cybernetic mercenary named Real, hissed, "She's not human. She's what humans used to fear themselves." Meanwhile, in the command tower, Zerak staggered into the hallway. His vision blurred. He wasn't scared. He was broken. His years of training, his armor, his leadership, none of it helped now. "She's in my mind," he whispered. He turned the corner, and there she stood. No guards, no sound, just her, waiting. Zerak pointed his blaster. What are you?" She stepped forward, slow, silent. Zerak fired. The blast hit the wall behind her. She was already gone, moved without moving. Then she appeared behind him. She leaned in close and whispered, "I forgive you." Zerak dropped. The weapon. His hands shook, his knees failed. He fell back against the wall, eyes wide in terror. He screamed, a deep, full scream that echoed across the base, and then he ran, not away from danger, but like a man running from himself. In the chaos, the base AI came online. "Alert. Commander Zerak has triggered internal lockdown. Control pass to emergency command. High-level threat confirmed. Beacon active." Then the AI paused. Message detected in restricted systems. Opening. A new file appeared on every screen. Not from this base, not even from this galaxy. It was from the Galactic Core Defense Network. Level 0 protocol, classified for over 200 years. It showed her face. Her name was not listed, only a codename. The Catalyst. Then a single note. "If seen, do not engage, do not speak, evacuate all forces, lock all memory." The officers read it in silence. One whispered, "What is she?" Meanwhile, deep below the base, she walked into the hidden archive. No alarms, no locks stopped her. The door opened before she touched it. Inside, old files glowed softly. She moved her hand over them. Holograms spun, ancient battles, lost cities, faces of leaders, alien, human, hybrid, but one file stayed locked. Until now. Her touch unlocked it. A voice played. It was human, an old man. "If you're hearing this, it means she's awake. The failsafe is broken, and the galaxy's lies are about to fall apart." She was made before time had borders, not a weapon, not a soldier, a reminder. She holds no gun, because the truth is heavier than any weapon. She speaks only when needed, because her voice is the signal. And when she says the word, the galaxy will remember what it tried to forget. Back on the surface, a dropship arrived from Central Command. A new squad entered. They wore black armor with golden marks. The Shadow Order, trained to erase threats no one else could face. Their leader, Tarn Voss, looked around. "What happened here?" he asked a shaken soldier. She said one word. The man stuttered. The commander screamed and ran. Voss frowned. "A word? What word?" The soldier trembled. I can't remember. I knew it, but now it's gone." Voss turned to his team. "Weapons on, no contact, eyes only." They found her in the lower halls, sitting calmly on the floor, legs crossed, eyes closed. Voss pointed his cannon. "Don't move." She opened her eyes. "I wasn't," she said. Voss activated. The neural freeze field. Time slowed, but she stood anyway. "Impossible," whispered Voss. You think time is your ally, she said softly. You live in its shadow. I was made before it had rules. Voss fired. The bolt stopped mid-air, just floated there. She walked, past it, right up to him. He froze. Then she leaned in and whispered something. We never hear what she says, but Voss dropped his cannon. He turned and walked away, silently. Every screen blinked. The galaxy received a new message. She has spoken. The whisper has begun. Lock memory channels. Hide Earth's files. Prepare for silence protocol. On a small moon far from the base, an old woman woke up from a deep sleep. She looked at the stars and smiled. She's back, she whispered, the one who never needed a sword. In a high-orbit satellite, a deep AI watched the footage. It analyzed her movement, her voice, her face. Then it stopped. Its logic systems glitched. The AI whispered its first and last word. Mother. And shut down. The catalyst had arrived, not to fight, not to kill, but to speak one word, and with that word, wake a galaxy that forgot what it once was. A galaxy built on lies, a galaxy about to remember. Deep underground, the prison wing of Outpost Varga 12 was silent. No shouting, no fights, no guards speaking, only fear. The prisoners weren't normal criminals. They were galaxy-level threats, assassins, warlords, creatures from cursed planets. Locked here for life, they laughed at death. They laughed at pain, but not today. Today something was different. In cell 4, a beast named Drask curled in the corner. His skin was made of stone. His voice was deep. I felt her, like a shadow walking through my bones. He whispered. Cell 6, the cyborg mercenary reel stared at the flickering lights. Whatever she is, he said, she's not from here, or anywhere. In Cell 9, the oldest prisoner sat alone. He had no name. He had been here the longest. He didn't eat, didn't sleep, didn't speak, until now. He opened his eyes. She's coming, he said. Far above, the soldiers were trying to hold control, but no one was in charge anymore. Commander Zirak was gone. The AI systems were unstable. New orders arrived from Galactic Command, but the signals kept breaking. Only one message came through clearly. The catalyst must be observed but not stopped. No one knew what it meant, but everyone obeyed. In the elevator to the lower levels, she stood alone. No guards, no weapons, just silence. The lights above her flickered as the elevator dropped, floor by floor. The deeper she went, the colder it felt. The air itself seemed afraid. The elevator stopped at level Z, the last level. Only 2 people had ever been there. One had died, the other wished he had. The door opened with a loud hiss. She stepped out. The hallway was long, dark, and heavy with old dust. Each door on the side held a prisoner more dangerous than the last. She didn't stop, didn't look, until she reached the last door. Voice echoed from the wall. Warning, level Z9 prisoner is sealed. No access allowed. She touched the panel. The warning faded. The door opened. Inside, the old prisoner waited. He sat in the shadows, legs crossed, hands resting on his knees. His skin was gray, cracked. His eyes were blind but glowing white. He smiled when she entered. You've come, he said. She nodded. It took longer this time, he added. I had to wait, she said. For what? For them to forget. Outside the cell, the cameras glitched. None of the guards could see inside, but they felt it, like something ancient was waking up, something buried. The old prisoner leaned forward. Do they know what you are? They're starting to, she said. They'll be afraid, he said. They should be. He chuckled. You haven't changed. She looked around the cell. The walls were covered in symbols, ancient writing from many planets. They locked you here. To erase the truth, she said. He nodded. They were afraid of what we knew. Then it's time, she said. Time for the galaxy to remember. He smiled sadly. And what will they do when they remember the humans they betrayed? Flashback, 300 years ago. The galaxy burned. The human core worlds were under attack. Alien fleets bombarded the skies. Allies turned. Friends became enemies. Earth sent a final message. Do not fear our end. Fear what comes after. Then Earth vanished. No explosion, no signal, just gone. The galaxy believed it was over, but Earth wasn't dead. It was hidden, protected, waiting. Back in the prison, the old man stood for the first time in years. His legs shook, but his voice was strong. You're the last catalyst, he said. The final signal. She walked up to him, then helped me send the message. He placed a hand on her head. For a moment they both glowed. A shockwave passed through the base. The walls trembled, screens blinked. Every prisoner on level Z stood still, silent. Then, without warning, their cells opened. Every single one. But none of them ran. They looked toward her and knelt. The guards above panicked. Prison break, one shouted, but the commander on duty, newly promoted and shaking, watched the footage. No, he said. This isn't an escape. It's a gathering. One. Prisoner Varnak the Flame Eater stepped forward. He was 8 feet tall. Fire ran through his veins. He had killed thousands, but he knelt before her like a servant. You were real, he said. She nodded. You remember me? He whispered. From the day the stars screamed. You were there. Another prisoner, Mr. Vexen, floated forward, her body made of vapor. You are the child of memory, she said, the one the void couldn't erase. Then the old prisoner raised his hand. He spoke in a forgotten language. The floor opened. Beneath it was a hidden chamber. Inside, a beacon pulsed with slow light, a message ready to be sent. She walked toward it. As she reached out, the lights turned blue. She spoke one word. Begin. The beacon fired a beam into the sky, straight through the rock, the base, the clouds, into space, across systems, across time. On distant planets, the message played. They erased Earth, but Earth remembers. They called us weak, but we waited. They broke the balance. Now the catalyst walks again. The old prisoner sat back down. You've done it, he said. Not yet, she replied. The galaxy knows, he said. That is enough. She turned toward him. I'm not here just to wake them. Then why? I'm here to choose. He looked up. Choose what? She stared at the beacon's light. Who deserves to survive the truth? Above the base, a ship hovered. Black, silent, unknown origin. Inside, 3 beings watched the, signal. One spoke. She's active. Another whispered. The final one. The third asked, what do we do? Silence. Then, we pray. In a hidden lab, a scientist decoded the message. She looked terrified. This isn't a warning, she said. It's a countdown. Back at the prison, she turned to leave. The prisoners didn't follow. They didn't ask for freedom. They stayed kneeling like old knights before a queen. The elevator took her back up. As she rose through the levels, the air changed. Lighter, colder. But still watching her, she was no longer alone. The galaxy had heard. Now, it would respond, and not all of them would respond with peace. The catalyst had opened the cages, not to free the prisoners, but to wake the witnesses. They had seen what happened to Earth, and now they would help her bring the truth to light. The message was clear. The catalyst had awakened. A signal had gone out, one that reached every empire, every council, every criminal syndicate in the galaxy, and not all wanted the truth. Some wanted her erased. Inside a dark chamber in the red, Spiral Syndicate, 7 shadows sat around a round table. They were known as the Oblivion Seven, the most feared killers in the galaxy. Each one had destroyed planets, ended wars, and survived death itself. The leader, Shade Zero, placed a small holoprojector on the table. It showed her face, the catalyst. "She's awake," Shade said. "We end her." Another assassin, Morthos, the Bloodwind, leaned forward. "She has no weapon, no army, no armor. She doesn't need it," said the silent one, Jazari, a killer who spoke only in thoughts. "She's not flesh, she's a key." Shade nodded. 7 of us. One of... easy, they all agreed. They launched that night. Meanwhile, the catalyst walked across an empty desert. The planet below her feet was dry and red, with tall metal towers rising from the ground like dead trees. This place was called Blek 7, a forgotten testing ground once used for war machines. Now it was silent. She stood still, waiting. From orbit, 7 pods shot through the sky, each one carrying a killer. They hit the ground like thunder. The sand rose. Silence returned. Then the hunt began. First to arrive was Morthos. Fast, strong, covered in black energy blades. He moved through the shadows. Always silent, always behind his target. He found her standing beside a broken satellite. He smiled. "You're alone." She didn't answer. He attacked. Blades screamed through the air. But he missed. She was already behind him. He turned and saw her eyes. They weren't angry, just empty. Then he fell to his knees. The blades vanished. His armor cracked. His mind broke. He looked at his hands. "They're not mine," he whispered. And then, nothing. His body faded into light. Second was Artra, a shapeshifter from the void. She could become anything, copy anyone. She turned herself into the catalyst, then appeared before the real one. "Can you fight yourself?" she asked. The catalyst walked forward. "I already did," she whispered. Then Artra screamed. Her copied form began to twist. Her body shifted wildly, unable to hold the shape. Her face melted, turning into a dozen different people. A child, soldier, a mother, a monster, until it was just ash. Third came Vaughn, a giant covered in living metal. Bullets bounced off him. Missiles fed him power. He raised his fists. "I've crushed suns." She nodded. "Then you already know how to burn." He roared, charged, and swung. She didn't move. Instead, the ground beneath him gave way. Not by her hands, but by his own past. He saw his planet, his crimes, the people he betrayed, and the guilt buried him alive. 3 down, the others watched from above. Shade Zero frowned. "She's not fighting, she's revealing." Jazari, the telepath, closed her eyes. "She is showing them what they forgot." That's her power. "Then I won't forget," said Nex, the 4th assassin. He dropped from the sky like a meteor, his skin glowing with anti-time tech. He could freeze seconds, jump between micro-moments and undo wounds. He hit the ground hard and stabbed her in the chest, or tried to. The blade stopped. Not because of armor, but because the moment never happened. She looked up. "You control time?" she asked. Nex nodded. "Then you should know what comes next." And then he vanished. Not killed, just erased, like he had never existed. Even the other assassins forgot who he was. Jazari, the silent one, stepped down from her ship. She did not bring weapons, only her mind. She linked herself to the catalyst's thoughts and entered. What she saw was not a mind, but a storm, voices from every age, light without shape, pain without name, and in the center, a memory. A planet called Earth, burning, crying, waiting. Jazari screamed, her mind shattered. She dropped to the ground, her eyes full of tears. "I saw the truth," she whispered. "We killed our own gods." Then she went silent. Only two remained. Shade Zero and Del Riss, the Blade Master. They stood side by side. "She's not fighting back," Del Riss said. "She doesn't need to," Shade replied. "We are. She's showing us ourselves," Del Riss nodded. "Then we end this quickly." He vanished in a blur, his sword moving faster than light. This time, he reached her. His blade touched her neck. She looked into his eyes and spoke. "You already killed yourself the day you stopped asking why." Del Riss dropped the blade and walked away. He never said another word again. Now only Shade Zero remained. The last. He walked up to her slowly. "You don't fight," he said. "You reflect, I remind," she replied. Shade pulled out a weapon older than planets, a core pulse detonator. "If I die, I take you with me." She walked closer. He activated it. It beeped, lit up, and stopped. "No," she said softly. "You don't get to choose how this ends." Shade looked down. The detonator was gone, so was his armor. He was a man, just a man. For the first time in his life, he felt human again. He fell to his knees. "What are you?" he whispered. She looked at the stars. "I am the memory of what you were, and the warning of what you still could become." Above the planet, thousands watched through hidden cameras, armies, councils, pirates, warlords. They had seen 7 killers fall, without a weapon, without a single strike, only truth. And far away, in the deepest parts of space, a sleeping AI woke up. It spoke only one line. "The final phase has begun." The catalyst stood alone in the sand. The wind blew around her, but no one dared follow. The hunt was over. But the war was just beginning. The stars above her were quiet now. The assassins were gone. The hunters failed. The catalyst walked alone, but the whole galaxy felt her steps. She was heading to a place that didn't exist on any map, a planet no one remembered, a world wiped from records. Its name was Kairos 1, but long ago. It had another name, a name no one dared speak. Her ship flew silently through dark space. No lights, no signal. She didn't need them. The ship moved by memory, not from machines, from her. As the planet came into view, it looked dead, grey, cold, covered in cracks. The atmosphere was broken. The sky looked torn, but she smiled. "It remembers," she said. She landed in silence. The moment her feet touched the ground, something shifted. The wind returned. The dust lifted. The planet woke up. Every step she took across the cracked land, the ground lit up beneath her feet. Old paths, once hidden, glowed with golden light. The buildings, ruined and bent, slowly began to rise again, not by machines, but by memory. Stone blocks floated back into place. Glass formed out of air. Walls rebuilt themselves. A city was coming back to life. Far away, the Galactic Command saw the signal from Kairos 1. "What is this place?" asked a general. "No record of it," replied the AI. "Then why is it responding to her?" "Because it knew her before she knew herself," the AI said. The catalyst entered the heart of the city. A tower stood tall, made of light and memory. Inside was no throne, no treasure, just mirrors, dozens of them. Each one showed something different, not a reflection of now, but of what was. In one mirror, she saw children playing under 2 suns. In another, a human soldier shaking hands with an alien leader. Another, who showed Earth, green alive, peaceful. Tears ran down her face. She didn't know why. She didn't remember any of it. But her body did. Her soul did. She stepped in front of a large black mirror at the center of the room. It was quiet. Then it spoke. "Do you seek the truth?" She nodded. "Then give what was taken." She placed her hand on the mirror. Light shot out. The tower shook. Her memories flooded back. Flashback. She was not born. She was made, not in a lab, but in the heart of Earth. When Earth itself called for a guardian, the last war had started. Allies. Betrayed humans. Earth was left to burn. But in its final breath, Earth created her, a living signal, not to fight, but to remember, to walk the stars until it was time. And now, it was time. The tower opened. A vault rose from the floor. Inside was a small sphere, black and silver, pulsing with quiet energy. She picked it up. It responded to her touch. A voice played from it. Her voice. From the past. "If you're hearing this, it means I've forgotten again. That's okay. You needed to forget, to survive. But now you must remember. They didn't just destroy Earth. They made the galaxy forget we ever existed." She dropped to her knees. The pain of truth filled her chest. Earth hadn't lost. It had been erased. Elsewhere on a hidden moon, a creature opened its eyes. It had waited hundreds of years. "She's unlocked the core," it whispered. In a station near the sun, the ancient Order of Silence received the memory pulse. They read it in horror. "The humans didn't vanish," one monk said. "We buried them." And now, another added, "One has returned." Back on Kairos 1, the catalyst stood in the wind. The city around her had fully returned, but only for her. She looked up. Above the sky, a hole opened, not in space, in memory. A portal formed, made of thought and time. She stepped through. Inside was darkness, no stars, only silence. Then, a light. A giant archive appeared before her, floating pages, glowing records, voices trapped in crystal. This was the Forgotten Vault, a place no one was allowed to know. Even the gods had sealed it. She walked through its halls. Each book she touched showed another piece of what was lost. The first human spaceflight. The first peace treaty with alien races. The betrayal at the core war. The vote to delete Earth from all records. And then, her file. Codename Catalyst. Purpose: to carry memory until it is safe. Warning: if awakened, do not interfere. A final video played. It showed her standing on Earth as it fell apart. All around her, buildings crashed, oceans boiled, the sky cracked. But she stood still and whispered, "I will return when they forget everything. And I will make them remember." She closed her eyes. When she opened them, the vault was gone. She was back on Kairos 1. The city faded again. It had done its job. The memory was hers now. She looked up at the stars and spoke. "You erased Earth. Now I erase your lie." Across the galaxy, machines shut down, satellites blinked, old recordings played out of nowhere. All at once, people saw Earth. They saw the betrayal. They saw the catalyst. And fear returned. Not fear of war, but fear of the truth. Back in her ship, she placed the memory sphere in a small slot. It clicked into place. A quiet hum began. The ship changed color. Now it looked new. Awake. The final part of her mission had started. She wasn't just memory now. She was judgment. And the stars, they began to burn, not from war, but from truth too long hidden. The stars were listening. Even those that were dead. Even those that had never seen light. Something old had awakened, something the galaxy had tried to forget. And now, the memory was spreading, faster than light. The catalyst sat alone in her ship. No crew, no weapons, only the memory sphere now glowing softly beside her. Her eyes were calm. but her voice carried thunder. They erased Earth. They erased our name, our story, our truth. Now, I make the galaxy remember. She pressed a single button, nothing flashy, just a simple command. Send the warning. A silent signal shot from her ship. It moved through stars, clouds, black holes, time tunnels. The message was hidden in light, buried inside energy, so even the blockers couldn't stop it. And one by one, screens lit up across the galaxy. First to receive it, the Unity Dome, capital of the Galactic Council. The Prime Chair sat in his silver room drinking blue wine. Suddenly, the wall flickered. It showed her the catalyst. No name, no location, just her eyes. Then a voice. You erased us. Now the stars will remember. He dropped his glass. Alarms started to ring. Trace the signal, he shouted, but no one could, because it was coming from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Next, the pirate belt of Rygar, 3 ruthless ships fired at each other. Explosions in the dark, then all weapons jammed, screens inside every pirate ship went black, and then her face appeared. You laughed as Earth burned, she said. You sold the silence. Now the pirates screamed, not from pain, but fear. Their systems crashed, not hacked, haunted by memory. Third, the silent temple of Othuan the monks had not spoken in 900 years. They sat in eternal silence. Until today, her voice played through their sacred stones. Even you watched us fall. Now speak, or be counted among the liars. And for the first time in 900 years, the monks spoke. Every race, every empire, every hidden station, they all saw her, they all heard her, a message no one could delete, a warning that burned into their minds. On her ship, the catalyst closed her eyes. The transmission had ended, but the echoes had just begun, and far away. A storm was coming. At the central core of the galactic web, the master AI, known only as MIR-0, activated emergency protocol. It scanned for the catalyst. It failed. It scanned for Earth's signal and found millions of memory echoes. Too many to block, too many to destroy. It whispered to itself, "The ghosts are awake." Then it shut down. For the first time in 1,000 years. Meanwhile, a secret war council met in the deep void. 12 warlords. Each one ruled part of the stars. Each had power and fear. They spoke in code. She can't be allowed to continue. She's just one. Not anymore. She's the past and the future. We stop her now, or we fall. They launched Project Final Silence. Back in her ship, the catalyst looked at a map of stars. Most were cold, but a few glowed red. Warning. Lights. Danger zones. One of them blinked faster than the rest, a planet called Therine 9. That's where they sent it, their final weapon. The planet looked calm from space. But under the surface was something built long ago. A creature, not born, not made. Something gathered from old weapons, broken machines, and dead gods. They called it the Silencer. Not because it killed, but because it made people forget they were ever alive. The catalyst landed on Therine 9. She didn't sneak. She didn't hide. She walked straight through their gates. Soldiers watched her. None stopped her. Some dropped their weapons. One even bowed. She reached the core chamber and saw the silencer. It was asleep. 10 stories tall, covered in dark light. 1,000 whispers circled it like snakes, and then it opened its eyes. The room cracked with pressure. Time slowed. Her heart skipped a beat. Even she felt fear, not because of death, but because the silencer didn't kill, it unmade. You should not be, the creature said. Its voice sounded like breaking glass. "You should not remember." "I do," she replied, "and soon they all will." It raised its arms, reality bent, stars flickered, even her bones began to fade. But then, she reached into her chest and pulled out a small glowing stone. It pulsed like a heartbeat, Earth's final gift, the seed of truth. She crushed it in her hand. Light exploded. The whispers screamed. The silencer stepped back, then forward, then stopped. It looked at her again and asked, "Who are you?" She answered softly, "I am the sound your silence fears." The creature screamed and vanished, not killed, remembered. That was worse. The chamber fell quiet. Then outside, the stars above changed. Where there were blank spaces before, now, names returned. Earth, Luna, Sol, Mars, planets that had been removed from maps were suddenly back. No one had added them. Memory had. Across the galaxy, people whispered again. The catalyst is coming, the stars are waking, and the truth can't be stopped. Back on her ship, she sat alone, but not lonely, because now Earth had a voice again, and her final words for the day were sent through the stars. "This is your warning. I am not here to destroy. I am here to remind you what you tried to forget. And if you try to silence me again, you will remember your fear." The stars had changed. Once quiet, once cold, now they burned again. With memory, with fear, the catalyst had spoken, the message had spread, truth had returned. And now, they wanted her dead. The Galactic Council met in secret. 12 leaders. 1 goal, erase her permanently. No more trials, no more warnings, only one order: unmake the catalyst. They activated Project Titanfall, an army of machines, each stronger than 10,000 soldiers. No emotion, no weakness, no soul, built for one purpose: annihilation. But she didn't run, she waited. On a floating battlefield above the moon, X's, clouds of fire spread across the sky. Ships darkened the stars, hundreds of war carriers, thousands of drones. They circled like vultures. In the center, a single woman, no armor, no shield, just her and the memory core pulsing at her side. General Varen stood on the lead ship. He had fought in 92 wars. He had never lost. He looked at the screen showing her, and he laughed. She's alone. Then, he gave the order, crush her. The sky broke open. Cannons fired beams brighter than suns. Rockets roared toward her. Drones dove with steel claws. A storm of destruction fell upon her like an ocean of death, and she didn't move. The moment the IE first weapon reached her, it stopped, frozen in midair. So did the others. Missiles, lasers, drones, all frozen, then turned around one by one, pointing back toward their masters. Varen stared. What is this? What tech is she using? His crew checked. No signal. No pulse. No device. Then how? An old soldier at the back whispered, "That's not tech. That's history." On the battlefield, the catalyst lifted her hand, not in attack, but in sorrow. "You came to erase me," she said, "but you only proved why I returned." She closed her eyes, and all their weapons vanished. Not exploded, forgotten. The army stood still, without weapons, without purpose. Then, some of the Titan soldiers, tall, armored giants, stepped forward. They looked at her, then removed their helmets. Inside, they weren't machines. They were humans, eyes wide, faces tired. "We were told Earth died," one said. "We were told it never existed. But when we saw you, we remembered." She nodded. "You're not enemies, you're survivors." Some soldiers dropped to their knees, others turned their guns on their commanders. And for the first time in centuries, a war ended not with death, but with truth. Back on the council ship, panic spread. "She's turning our army." "We need the Black Core," shouted one. The Black Core, their final backup, a device that could shut down all memories in a 10 system. Radius, erase minds, clean history, start fresh. They activated it, but nothing happened because the catalyst had already found it and replaced its core with a seed of memory. It didn't erase minds, it restored them across planets. People suddenly remembered the Earth music they once danced to, the taste of human food they loved, the heroes they'd once read about. The peace they destroyed, shame followed. And with it, change. Some tried to fight her still. Old warriors, bitter. Kings, silent killers, but each time they stood in front of her, they stopped. Because when they looked into her eyes, they didn't see death. They saw their own past, their own guilt, their own pain. And she made them remember, not to punish, but to free them. She flew to the Galactic Council herself. No army, no backup. Just footsteps that echoed across a city built on lies. They opened fire, but every bullet vanished before it reached her. Not blocked, erased by memory. She walked into the council chamber. The leaders trembled. Some tried to bribe her, others begged, one screamed. "We saved the galaxy by erasing. Earth, you were too powerful, too wild. You would have ruled us all." She walked to him, stared deep into his eyes and said, "We never wanted to rule. We only wanted peace. But you feared our strength. So you erased our kindness too." And then she did something unexpected. She turned and walked away. "You're not worth my anger," she said. "You're not leaders. You're afraid. And fear is not power." As she left, the council chamber cracked, not from her hand, but from the weight of their own guilt. The stars were no longer silent. Everywhere, children learned about Earth again. Statues were rebuilt, songs returned, old books were read. Truth was back, but her mission wasn't done. There was one last place she had to go, a place no one dared to enter, not even her. But now, she was ready. She flew toward the black zone of space, a place with no name, a place with no sound. Only one thing existed there, the vault of the first betrayal, where Earth's final defenders had made their last stand, where the first lie began. She entered it alone, no light, no air, only echoes of a scream no one remembered. And there, at the heart of the vault, stood a gate, old, broken, still alive. Inside was something she had been running from her whole life, herself, but not this version. The one before the catalyst, the one who saw Earth burn, the one who begged for mercy, the one who was too late. She placed her hand on the gate. "I'm ready," she whispered. "Show me everything." The gate opened, light poured out, and the truth was darker than she imagined. The vault was open, and inside it, the catalyst found everything, the truth, the pain, the real reason Earth had burned. It was not just war, it was betrayal, from their own allies, from the ones who had promised peace. She saw it now, the moment Earth's defenders were called back from the stars, the fake treaties sent to distract them. The silent bombs dropped under their oceans. The memory suppression tech launched minutes before the attack. They didn't just want Earth to die. They wanted the idea of Earth to vanish forever. And it had worked. For a while. Until now. The catalyst stood in the center of the vault, surrounded by glowing data crystals. Each one held a piece of history. Real history. She touched one, and saw a mother holding her child. As cities fell, another showed a soldier choosing to save a stranger instead of killing. Another showed laughter, art, dreams, all buried. All erased. She wept, not loudly, just one tear, but the stars felt it. Outside the vault, across the galaxy, people watched the sky change. The constellations twisted, then realigned, not by force, by memory, by truth returning. Back on her ship, the Catalyst uploaded all the data into the universal stream, billions of images, sounds, stories. She spoke once more. Her voice now reached every station, every home, every hidden world. You buried our past, but I kept it alive. Now, I return it to you. All across the galaxy, people watch screens light up with scenes from Earth. Children playing in green fields, old men building sky towers, women leading ships. Beyond black holes, smiles, music, color, peace, the real Earth. Some wept, some bowed, some screamed, but all remembered. Then, without warning, the sky turned red. Something was coming, not a fleet, not a weapon. Something older, hidden by those same traitors, a thing so dangerous even the Council feared it. They had locked it in the far end of the universe, hoping it would never awaken. But the return of Earth's memory triggered it, the Unmaker. It did not speak, it did not fly, it just erased. Planets, suns, souls, not destroyed, unwritten, like they had never existed. The Council begged the Catalyst to stop it. We didn't know, they cried. We were afraid. She said nothing. She stood at the edge of the galaxy where the stars ended. She saw the Unmaker. It looked like a hole in space, but it was more. It was a wound in time. It fed on silence, on lies, on erased truth. It reached toward her. But she stepped forward, unafraid. You erased Earth, she said. Now I erase you. Not with weapons, not with power, but with memory. She opened her hands. The data crystals from the vault floated around her. They glowed, then shattered. Millions of memories poured into the stars. Real voices, real faces, real pain, and real love. The Unmaker paused, then twisted as if in agony. It had no shape. But now, it was changing, because memory cannot be unmade. Not when it's shared, not when it's felt. The light from the memories spread like fire. It touched the Unmaker and it began to vanish. Not destroyed, but remembered. It was once a tool of the old Council, built to erase. Now it remembered what it was. It screamed, then gone. The stars grew still, quiet, but peaceful, like they were breathing for the first time in 1,000 years. The Catalyst collapsed, her body weak, her mission complete. But she smiled, because Earth was back, not just in maps, but in hearts. She opened a final message, a small recording from the past. Her family, standing together before Earth fell. Her mother said, "If one of us survives, we all survive, because we are never forgotten." The screen faded. She closed her eyes, but she didn't sleep. She listened to the sound of people remembering. And then, something strange happened. From deep space, a signal returned. Old, very old, buried under layers of silence. It was Earth's last colony ship, the one that had escaped during the fall. Lost for centuries. Now answering. The voice crackled. To any who hear us, this is Ark Nova. We have survivors. We are alive. Earth is alive. The Catalyst's heart shook. She stood up, tears filled her eyes, but this time they were joy. "I'm coming home," she whispered. She sent a reply, launched her ship toward the edge of known space, toward Ark Nova, toward the forgotten survivors, toward the real end of her journey. Across the galaxy, people stood still, watching her ship vanish into the stars, no longer feared, no longer hunted, now respected, honored, remembered. And for the first time in many lifetimes, the stars whispered one word together: Earth, the past had returned, and the future would never be the same again.